Hello there, I'm Tabletop Toby. What better way to spend the holidays than fighting the evil cultists trying to raise the Elder Ones with their rituals and to destroy humanity? I can think of nothing more heartwarming, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be doing specifically Cthulhu Death May Die, Season 4, Episode 5, Pyramid of Fear. We are going to be using the Elder One in Season 4, which is Nyarlathotep, also at least referred to by me as Ny for pronunciation purposes, because I would not be able to say that over and over and over again. So Ny it is. We're also going to be using the animal allies, which are relic cards. If you are playing with the Fear of the Unknown, which came in with Season 3, where you throw in additional unknown monsters, your compensation is you get these fun relic cards that give you additional abilities specific to each investigator. And they are, in this case, animal allies that are on the board. They follow you around. You can make them move around, and there's kind of area mechanics that are with those. So looking forward to playing around with those a little bit. So we're going to look at all of that more and how that works on the table. So for now, throw in your Klingon subtitles. That way, if there are any rules mishaps, any additional notes, comments that I want to throw in, then you will be informed of those. So with that, let's dive into the darkness. All right, and we're all set up per the instructions for the Pyramid of Fear, which are on the back here, so we're not going to go through that. That's fairly straightforward. And per the instructions on the Elder One, Stage 1, which is here, so we're not going to discuss that as well. So we're just going to discuss Stage 1 of the Elder One for now, and then what our goal is to disrupt the ritual, because that's always the thing with Cthulhu Death May Die, is that we got to disrupt the ritual so we can actually harm the Elder One and call the Elder One to the board. That is something that's a little different with Nyarlathotep, which I'm just going to call Ny, which I'm sure I said in the intro, in that Ny starts with a human form on the board. You cannot harm the human form until you disrupt the ritual, but Ny is going to be going around and bashing on you and kind of jumping around. And that's what this Stage 1 tells us. When any form of Ny attacks, for each Elder sign, the investigator catches 1 fire. After the attack, if Ny is in its human form, which is the starting form on the board, move to the furthest gate. So if this human form, I mean, it's not really human because you can't harm it, but at least any human that I know, it will attack you and then jump to the furthest gate. And while it's in that starting form, it's going to be the normal Stage 1 of the 3 standard black dice. And for the Pyramid of Fear here, to disrupt the ritual, we have to have an investigator holding the 3 staff of raw parts, the shaft, the head, and the gem at the pyramid's central room, which is here in the center, which is why it's called the central room, at the end of any action. After the ritual is disrupted, the investigator holding the staff of Ra gains 1 level in their signature skill. So that's kind of a cool bonus. So where are these staff of Ra parts, you might ask? Well, one of them is sitting right here in plain sight on this altar. And kind of Indiana Jones style, if you go and grab that and you don't put something down on the altar to, compensate for the weight, then in the special rules it tells us if there's no gem or treasure bag sitting on that altar when the Elder One advances, then each investigator takes 2 wounds, and then each enemy moves 1 space towards the investigator nearest to them with the staff of Ra part, if any. So yeah, that's a bad idea to do that. So you ask, well, how do we find treasures? So these are treasures and these are traps. And the way that you find these are with these Explorer tokens that are on a lot of these spots. And one of the special actions, there's always 2 special actions in each scenario. One of them is Explorer, which is you can pick up any number of treasures, staff of raw parts, and Explorer tokens in your space. Explorer tokens are resolved and discarded. So some of these have resolve a trap, some of these say gain a treasure, and one of those has one of those staff of raw parts. So the staff we're just going to find on one of those Explore tokens. The gem, we're going to hopefully get a treasure with one of these and then take that treasure and then drop it on the altar and grab the gem so that we don't trigger any traps that will haunt us later. And the third one is up here as another special action, you can solve the puzzle, which is turn over one of these plaques, which are randomized. They have a 1, 2, or 3 on them. You get to turn one over as an action. If it is the next one in numerical sequence, then great, it gets to stay face up. If not, then you have to flip it over and start over, but they are not re-randomized. So for example, if I turn this over and it's a 2, I have to flip it back over, but it stays in the same spot. If I flip this one over and it's a 1, it can stay there. I now know this one's a 2 because I flipped it over the first time. I can now flip that over and then that, and then I've completed the sequence, but each one of those is a separate solve the puzzle action. So that's about as fast as I can go through all of that about the Pyramid of Fear. For the Elder One's minions, the Elder One has these moon beasts. These have 4 health. There's a pool of 3 of them. They attack with 2 black dice and 1 bonus die. And when attacking or being attacked, the Elder Signs also count as tentacles. So they are going to drive us to madness faster because they look real creepy because they're from the moon. These scenario monsters are the Sand Dwellers, these little thin pyramidy dudes. They only have 1 health. They attack with 1 black die, 2 bonus green dice. When attacked, if it takes more than 1 wound, the attacker also takes 1 wound. So you have to hit them with exactly 1 damage or they're going to do retaliatory 1 damage. And then we have the White Polypus thing. It attacks with a bit more, 1 black die, 3 bonus die. It has 9 health. There's only 1 of them in the stash. And when destroyed, each investigator within 1 space takes 2 stress because it's bloopy and blotchy and splashes around and ugh, gross. And of course, there's all the cultists around. And I'm excited about our selection. So we're playing with just investigators, also from the Season 4 expansion. We're playing with Rosario and Sylvia. And I always like making up little stories around why these people are together and what they're doing. I think that's some of the fun of playing Cthulhu Death May Die, the stories that can kind of come out of it. So Sylvia, you'll see, she's a reformed cultist. And so she is coming back to exact revenge. She got pulled into it and she feels terrible that she was a part of this ominous evil and that she helped this cult get to where it is now and is bringing this evil into the world. So she's coming back for revenge. She's become friends with Rosario. Now Rosario is just kind of a badass. So the quote on hers is, "My father taught me to fix cars and use guns. A very wise man, my father." And she's like, let's get them, Sylvia. Like, let's take him down. I got my shotgun, and we're going to get into the relics now. I'm playing with the Animal Allies, which was kind of a bonus thing that was part of the campaign, the Fear of the Unknown campaign, which was Season 3 and Season 4. And Rosario's got her snake, because of course she does, because she's the badass. So she has Celeste the snake, which is her relic, because we're playing with the unknown monsters. And it is an ally that's actually on the board with Rosario. Take a look at that. And we guess we should take a look at Rosario too, huh? So there she is with her gun. Once per turn, an investigator in the same space as Celeste has 1 free reroll when attacking. So you'll notice that's not just Rosario, but any investigator in the space with Celeste. And when Rosario reaches the 3rd insanity level, the upgraded version is the Enchanted Celeste. Investigators in the same space as Celeste have 2 free rerolls when attacking. So that'll be great as we get to the kind of climax. Everyone that's in the same space as Celeste will get 2 free rerolls to help us take down the Elder One at the end. Now Sylvia has Midna the cat, so that is her ally. So let's first take a look at Sylvia. So you see she is a reformed cultist. She has her book, but now she's trying to use what she learned back against the cultists to exact revenge for what they've done to her mind, evil they're bringing into the world. She has her ally Midna, which was the cult cat. And part of the story that I've created is that the cult is mad because the cult loved Midna and they've wondered where she's going. And here Sylvia is marching back in with Midna in tow. So let's take a look at Midna. So Midna is Sylvia's ally. When Midna moves, she may bring 1 enemy with her, which totally makes sense in this context because the cultists, the monsters who all loved the Elder One, even the Ny is here on the board already, sees Midna and they're like, Midna, come here. And Midna runs off. And so they're, of course, going to follow her. So I think it totally makes thematic sense here in the Cthulhu Death May Die universe. And what is the cultist like even more than Midna the cat? The upgraded version, Haunted Midna. Look at that adorable Haunted Midna. When Midna moves, she may bring up to 2 enemies with her. At the end of your turn, deal 2 wounds to each enemy in Midna's space. So she becomes a super badass and just kind of doing damage everywhere. Super fun. Looking forward to trying out Midna. And so with these animal allies, they follow along. They move along with you. They may, it's optional, follow along when you move, and they can move along with other of the investigators as well. And then once per turn, the investigator whose ally it is can make them independently move 3 spaces. So it's a little different than other relics, but kind of gives different options. And especially with Midna, it's a little bit of crowd control, maybe keep some of the enemies away that we don't want to mess with. And that'll be interesting to see. Maybe we can use that with some of the unknown monsters. And let's just take a quick look at what the insanities are. These are both from season 4. They have these extra tokens. So Rosario has hyperactivity. So gain the hyperactive token, which is this friend, and take 2 stress. While you have the hyperactive token, you can take 1 extra action, but you cannot rest. Discard it when you draw the Mythos card for your turn. So you get an extra action, but you can't rest until you draw the next Mythos. And then Sylvia's is uncontrollable fear. If there are any enemies in your space, gain the Frightened token and move to the nearest space with no enemies. Enemies do not follow. So that's potentially helpful if you can trigger fear at the right time. You can kind of run to the next space and then won't necessarily be attacked. But it says, so you gain this token when that happens. If you're in a space when your insanity triggers, and there's monsters there, or enemies, I should say. While you have the Frightened token, you cannot run. Discard it when you rest or when you draw the Mythos card for your turn. So unlike the hyperactive token, you can get rid of it with resting. Of course, if it's the end of your turn and you don't have any rest left, you cannot. So kind of interesting. It's also interesting because those could be triggered during the Elder One's advancement in particular scenarios, so then you will have it actually on your next turn. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how those play out. So with all of that, let's dive in. The only piece of setup we haven't done is randomizing where the unknown monsters are going to start out. So we're playing with the albino penguins, which they attack with 1 regular black die and 1 bonus die. And when they're wounded, whatever tentacles are rolled, they deal wounds to the attacker in that same number. And one of those are going to start on the yellow gate. And the monstrous frog, which attacks with 2 black dice and a bonus die. We'll look at them. And if it rolls an Elder sign, then it doubles the wounds dealt. It has 8 health. The albino penguins have 4. And the monstrous frog is going to start on the red one. So we might have Midna be running that monstrous frog around to avoid its potential damage at the beginning. But we'll see. So I think we're going to start with Rosario. We didn't discuss their abilities. So Rosario is boisterous. When she attacks, she can gain a bonus die, but she's yelling and being rambunctious, causing trouble. If she does that, then the nearest enemy not in her space moves 2 spaces towards her. If she upgrades that, she can get 2 bonus die. If she upgrades it again, then when an enemy enters the space, it does 1 damage to everyone in that space, which is cool. And the final upgrade is 1 additional wound. And then the other kind of normal abilities that are shared among many of the investigators are Marksman, which is the targeting 1 space away, and then Toughness, which allows mitigation of sanity and wounds, which is a very important one. Usually you want at least 1 investigator with that, or at least options around Toughness. And then Sylvia, of course, is a reformed cultist, so that is her special ability. So she loves killing cultists. Really hates those cultists. When you kill a cultist, heal 2 stress. So that will give her a machine of kind of rerolls. The upgrades on those are you perform 1 free attack per turn against a cultist. The next upgrade is when you kill a cultist, heal all your stress. And then the final upgrade is this skill also applies to monsters and the Elder One. So you would get to heal your stress all the way when defeating an Elder One stage or defeating other monsters. And then the other are Brawling, which are benefits to attacks against enemies in your space. And then Arcane Mastery, which is Elder Signs count as successes. All right, and Rosario is going to get us started here. And so, her whole thing is like raising a ruckus. She doesn't have to move. She can kind of attack from afar and call the enemies in. So she's going to do her thing. So she's going to do Boisterous, which allows her to add one bonus die, and then the next nearest enemy is going to kind of come in. So she's going to just shoot this one here. So that's 2 successes and 2 tentacles. So she is fine with that. I don't think she minds moving up earlier on to kind of get these upgrades to make her more powerful. And she does have toughness, which is sanity mitigation eventually. So she's not going to mind as much moving along this a little faster than probably Sylvia. But first, actually, we apply the successes, which means this cultist goes away. And we apply the effects, which is that the nearest enemy not in her spot will move 2 spaces. So it's going to hear Rosario raising a ruckus and come running in. That was the first action. So the second one, so we did move that up. So that's good. So she's just going to do Boisterous again and take that bonus die and attack a second time. So 2 more successes. So this cultist also goes away. I think she's going to clear this path for Sylvia to get up here and maybe do this puzzle early on while the path is clear, because that's 1 action per turning each of those. So we want to do that before the board gets too crowded. So this one's going to go 1, 2. Rosario's going to take that tentacle again. We could do a reroll if we wanted, but we might lose that success through the reroll with Celeste. But once again, we're okay with moving up that track early on. However, I think for this next attack, she's just going to, actually, she'll go ahead and do Boisterous again. I'm just thinking, so her insanity is she would get a 4th action, but she wouldn't be able to attack again unless she called another one over. So I think she's going to go ahead and try to see if she can trigger her insanity and be able to kill a 4th creature, which would be great. Okay, so here we go. So 2 tentacles. So we only want to kill it with 1. We do want that so we can trigger her insanity, but we are going to use Celeste to reroll this, and hopefully we get a miss or a tentacle, not a hit, so we avoid the retaliation strike from the Sand Dweller. Well, that didn't help. Let's go ahead and try to use a stress to avoid that health loss. And that worked. Okay, so we apply the success, and you can use, for those who aren't familiar with the game, you can use stress, which is this one, to re-roll a die at any time, and that's whether you're attacking or whether someone's attacking you. So 1 damage to the Sand Dweller. Because we didn't over damage it, then it doesn't do its retaliation. We did use Boisterous, so this Sand Dweller, so these are equidistant, but we get to choose, so we're going to just bring this one in because of the Boisterous effect. And then with the Insanity, it's 2, but you only move up as far as the next red one, because now we're triggering our Insanity. So even though there's 2, you just stop at each red one, how many ever there are, whatever that effect is, how many ever that number is, you just stop at that red. So you trigger the Insanity, which is gain the hyperactivity token, take 2 stress, 1, 2, and then it tells us, well, you have the hyperactive token, you have 1 extra action, and you cannot rest. Discard it when you draw the Mythos card for your turn. So that was the end of our 3rd action, but now we have a 4th action. So now we're not going to do Boisterous for our 4th action because it would call in the Monstrous Frog, which has 8 health and is a little stronger, and we just don't want it kind of in the way. And so we're just hoping to also kill the Sand Dweller just with 1 hit. And that is not 1 hit, that is 1 tentacle. So we're going to use Celeste, we get 1 reroll, and that is still not that. So, well, we will go ahead and use 1 stress to reroll again. And there we go. We at least finish it off with the 1 success, and we did not overkill, so we hit it exactly for 1 health, so we do not get its retaliation, but we do take 1 tentacle. We didn't use our boisterous, our bonus die, so we don't call anyone towards us, and that is all of our actions. We got the 1 bonus action for the hyperactivity, and it's kind of nice on your board. It tells you all the things. So the next thing we do is draw a mythos card, and our insanity tells us that discard the hyperactivity token when we draw a mythos card. So we're going to go ahead and move that over there. We draw our mythos card, which is dragged into the darkness. If you're in the same space as Ny, which we are not, catch 2 fire. Otherwise, each investigator moves 1 space towards Ny. Enemies do not follow. So we'll move 1 and 1, and our allies may follow us if we want, and we do choose for those to follow us. And so it does not go towards the progression of this track, which is good. There's a big orange symbol if it goes towards that, and there's not this time. And then investigator fight. So if there's nothing in our spot, then we don't fight. Nothing attacks us. So we get a discovery action. Now it does suck because we're out of stress. So I don't know how wise that was, but we did clear out the board a lot. So we now may face the consequences of that. Golden Mask, the power of command wrought in gold. You may take 2 stress to claim the mask. Well, we have no stress. If you do not claim the curse condition, well, I guess we're getting cursed. At the end of your turn, you lose 1 sanity for each treasure you are carrying, or take 1 stress if you are not carrying a treasure. Oh no. If you rest on the square with the sarcophagus token, you may discard all cursed cards you have and recover all health and stress. Well, the sarcophagus is not on the board yet, so we are going to take 1 stress for every turn that we are not carrying a treasure. And if we are carrying a treasure at the end of our turn, then we lose 1 sanity. So not great. I think we were playing on Sylvia, maybe running around and doing a lot of that stuff. We were dealing with more of the monsters, so I guess that's okay. But hopefully we can turn out that sarcophagus and she can get rid of that curse. I guess we shall see. So then we resolve end of turn, which is a nice handy dandy thing here for end of turn. So end of turn effects. So she is cursed, so she's not carrying a treasure, so she gets stressed, but she's already maxed out on stress, so nothing happens. She's not on fire. There's not 3 symbols of an Elder 1 advancement, and so that's it. So it is Sylvia's turn. So Sylvia, actually that movement was very helpful for us because she's going to go, let me think about this for a minute. She's going to leave Midna there for now, because Midna's sole purpose is to drag enemies away from us and cause a distraction. So she's going to go 1, Sylvia that is, 1, 2, 3. She puts her all the way there, and she gets to turn over 2 of these tokens. So hopefully our luck is good. Let's see here. Let's try this one. So that was 1 action is running there. This is 2. Okay. And 3. Wow. Okay, that is really lucky for us. So that was all of her actions. So that is amazing. I think that's literally the first time I've had that happen. I played this scenario a couple times just to prep for this, to make sure I understood how all the mechanics work. And I had to waste many turns to get that to happen before. So very fortunate for us. So once per turn as a free action, we can move Midna 3 spaces, and she can have up to 1 enemy follow her. So she's going to go 1, 2, 3, and have the monstrous frog. Monstrous frog sees her and thinks like, oh, is that dinner? Chases her into this room. Cultist sees her and is like, oh, Midna. So that's all of Sylvia's actions, much less convoluted than Rosario's. So Sylvia draws her mythos card. Each investigator loses 1 sanity and takes 1 stress for each treasure they have. Well, we have no treasures. Summon 1 sand dweller to your space. If you have any staff of raw parts, which we do not, the furthest enemy moves 2 spaces towards you. So that's unfortunate because she has full stress availability to pay for anything with discovery. Often these discovery cards that you get when your space is empty of enemies, you pay stress to get the benefit of them. But sometimes these mythos cards that you draw before you have the chance to discover call enemies there, and then you do not get to discover, and that is always sad. So Sylvia is sad, but she doesn't have time to be sad because the Sand Dweller is about to hit her. So the Sand Dweller uses 1 regular die, 2 bonus die, and misses. So the elder signs do nothing for them. And that's it. So then it's end of turn. There's no end of turn effects for Sylvia or the Elder One or anything at this point. So we are back to Rosario. She has that annoying curse where she's going to lose stress each time. We're at the board a lot though. I think she's going to heal. So when you heal, you can do 1, 2, 3 stress or health. And then she's going to move 1. So Sylvia's going to be coming back down this way. She's the most equipped to deal with the frog, but Midna's over there. I guess Midna could run the frog back this way. That's interesting. 1, 2. So that's the second action is moving. And she's going to go ahead and flip this token over to explore as a third action. So we'll reveal and resolve a trap. So we go to the stack here. Catch 1 fire, it says. So there we go. So that was her third action. So then she draws a Mythos card. Make a roll, gain 1 bonus die if you have swiftness, discard 1 treasure item or companion, unless you roll 3 or more successes. If you can't discard, take 1. So she does not have a treasure item or companion. First, unfortunately, we cannot discard our curse because it is a condition. So we actually don't even need to roll because we can't discard. So we just need to take 1 wound. And this is the first of the symbols towards the advancement of the Elder One. Once there are 3 of those in the discard pile, then the Elder One will advance. And we didn't, I don't think, look at Ny's final form when either we disrupt the ritual or Ny advances to this red spot. This final form will also be called to the board. Although we still cannot harm Ny, even if this final form comes out on the board by advancing to that red spot, until we disrupt the ritual and render it temporarily mortal, or I guess it can't be human. I don't think that's human. I guess mortal. End of turn, so she gets a stress because she's not carrying a treasure, which is apparently very stressful for her. She really wants a treasure. Oh, but actually before that, she gets to discover, because there's no enemies in her spot. So torch, a light in the darkness to guide your path. You may claim the torch. Discard this card and place a fire token in your space to gain 2 bonus die when attacking. So that will be good maybe later on when we need some extra firepower to take down the Elder One. And now she will take her stress because she doesn't have a treasure. And then she is on fire, so we do roll 1 of these black die per fire. And she does take 1 wound because of that fire, and then this fire goes away. It's kind of like she's patting it out, but it did hurt her. Okay, and no advancement for the Elder One. So it is Sylvia's turn. So I think Sylvia, as her first action, is just going to complete this puzzle. So that was action 1. So these just go away, and she gets the part of the staff. So 1 down, 2 to go. I think she is then going to move. All enemies always follow you. 1. And he doesn't hit too hard, and she's at full health, so she's just going to try to keep things moving along while the board's fairly clear. And so as her third action, she's going to take this, which is reveal and resolve a trap. Well, we would love some treasures, but we are not getting those. So she will take a trap, which is take 1 wound. I was hoping for a treasure because sometimes those are as good or better than the discoveries, but maybe I should have killed them to get a discovery instead. Oh well. So then we draw the Mythos card. So Harbinger of Annihilation. Ny moves 2 spaces towards you, and each investigator in a space with a gate or in the same space as Ny catches 1 fire. So that is Rosario is going to catch fire, but we moved away from that, so we are spared. That is 2 towards the advancement of the Elder One. And then the Sand Dweller is going to attack us again. Whoa. Holy cow. Yeah, we should have really attacked that Sand Dweller. Dang. So we can re-roll. So I think we'll use 1 stress. So you can re-roll attacks against you too. Whoa. We'll do another stress. Okay, so there's a blank. And since we're not going to discover this turn anyway, we're going to do another one with these green. Man, that was a brutal roll. I guess we'll go ahead and do the third one. Wow. Okay. Well, that was just all terrible. We got a trap and we're almost dead. Great. Well, let's call it Cthulhu. I feel like that should be their little jingle. Da, 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 da. You're stressed and nearly dead. That's called. No, wait, not called Cthulhu. Wait, let's try this again. You're stressed and nearly dead. Cthulhu Death May Die. Okay, so that was the attack. And then she's not on fire. No advancement yet, so we're back to Rosario. Ooh, we should have had Midna run the frog. That's what we had wanted to do. Back down here, clear the path for Rosario. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. That was the plan. So Midna, I can move 1, 2, 3, and she can have. So that should have been on Sylvia's turn there. So we're going to go 1, 2. That was 1. You move up to 3 spaces on your run. So that's 1. And then this enemy will follow us. We'll go ahead and attack that. And we will use boisterous. So we get 1 bonus die. Oh, we forgot to upgrade when we triggered our insanity. I think she's going to go all in boisterous to begin with, at least. Toughness is going to be important for her too, because she's going to be calling all those enemies towards her, so as there's more of them. But the board is pretty clear now, so she's going to go more on the aggressive, like kind of defense as offense. No, wait, offense as defense. Yeah, that's the one. All right, so the cultist is dead. So that was 2, action 2. And we did do boisterous, so this enemy is going to go 1, 2. We could have done any of the 3 of these, but we did that one to get it away from Sylvia so she can heal up, which she desperately needs to do. And then for the third action, I think she's just going to heal while the coast is clear. So she's going to do 1, 2, 3. As you saw with Sylvia, things can turn against you real quick. This is definitely a game you can lose all of a sudden if you play the game of being too low and you don't have mitigation options, defense options. So I'm not gonna run that too close, especially after our luck with Sylvia. So that was Rosario's third action. So she's gonna draw her Mythos card. So this is one of the unknown behavior for the unknown monsters. Move the nearest. So this is the albino penguin, 2 spaces towards you. So that's 1, 2. And we have to draw another card. So Moonbeast, Nye, and each Moonbeast, which there's none on the board yet, move 1 space towards you. So Nye is right in the middle of the action now. Summon a Moonbeast at the blue gate. So thankfully we took care of that puzzle. And so the elder one is going to advance on this track this round. So she does get a discover. So an unorthodox blade, still sharp and eager for blood. If the sarcophagus token is not on the board, place it in your space. Oh, thank goodness. You may claim the Kopesh. Once per attack, if you would re-roll a die, you may set it to any face instead. Oh, this is great because she's super attacky, and with Celeste, she gets re-rolls. So to be able to just set one of those to whatever we want is great. So I'm just reading for that cursed. If you rest in the space with the sarcophagus token, you may discard all cursed cards you have and recover all health and stress. So it's too bad we rested at the end of our turn because we would have to rest again to get rid of that curse. So, but at least we have that option now. So that was her discovery. So end of turn. So she takes a stress for not having a treasure. She is on fire, so she has to roll a die for that. So she is going to take a wound for that. Well, at least she has something more to heal now, so it will feel better to rest at the beginning of her next turn. You know, silver lining. And this fire does go away. She pats it out as it burns her. All right, so now the elder one advances because of those 3 symbols in the discard. And then this stage card tells us what to do. So when Nye advances, summon 1 cultist to Nye's spot, right here in the middle. Move the nearest Moonbeast 2 spaces towards you. So that's 1, 2. Ooh, and see, it's Suddenly feeling a little bit crowded in here. Summon one moon beast at the furthest gate. So it's the furthest gate to us. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be this one. So then we do the albino penguins. Also, both of the unknown monsters get effects when the elder one advances. Each albino penguin moves 2 spaces towards the investigator with a companion. No investigator has a companion, if none towards you. So 1, 2. Summon one albino penguin at the nearest gate. So that's going to be here. You see, it looks so peachy. Now you also understand now why I was like, we need to hightail it and solve that puzzle. This is what happens when the coast is clear, when there's puzzles and things you got to do. You got to get in there. And then the monstrous frog moves 1 space towards you, then 1 additional space per insanity. So 1, and we up there 1, so 2. So look at this mess we are in now. Okay, so that was all from the advancement. And then these get shuffled back into the Mythos deck. So you can have those same actions happen again. All right, and we'll reset for Sylvia. And Sylvia, of course, is going to heal. So she's going to heal 1. And I think she's just going to heal 2. Maybe. Because otherwise, even if she... I guess the question is... I don't think she minds the Moonbeast as much. She hasn't moved up insanity at all. All right, I think we're going to do... So Midna, come here. So she's going to call Midna. And Midna is actually going to bring 1, 2, so that we can do that as a free action once per turn, cultist to us. So we've only taken 1 action, which is healing our health. And now we're going to attack this cultist, which we have brawling. Sylvia does, that is. And when she attacks something in her space, she gets 1 bonus die. So if we kill a cultist, then we heal 2 stress. So I thought that might be something that would be helpful. So that would kill the cultist, and we would get 2 tentacles as well, which I don't think we mind. So cultist is going away. So when we kill a cultist, we heal 2 stress. So we're going to heal the 2 stress, and then we're going to take the 2 tentacles. And then I think she doesn't have any discovery things. So I think she's just going to heal Kin for now. So we're drawing a Mythos card. Move the nearest, so that's the monstrous frog, 2 spaces towards us. Well, darn it. 1, 2. Well, I guess we're going to get attacked anyway. I guess we would have been attacked by even more if we had moved into that spot. So I guess that's okay, but we're still going to have to draw another Mythos card. Oh gosh, so Nye moves 2 spaces towards us. Any cultist who leaves follow it. The cultist is going to be called into the blue and the red. Wow. Okay. This is a completely different board than it was 2 turns ago. So now we're going to get attacked. So I always start with the weakest to strongest. I don't know why. And so we're going to do the monstrous frog first. So its thing is, if it gets an elder sign, then it doubles the wounds dealt. The good thing is that we have full stress availability, so we can reroll stuff. So it rolled 2 elder signs, so it gets to double wounds, but it has no wounds, so it does nothing. So that is great for us, I guess. It would have been nice to maybe get some tentacles, but we're not going to push our luck and use our reroll of the map because we have Nye to deal with as well. This is going to be Nye's first attack on us. And it's 3 wounds. Wow, we are not having good rolls against us. So we are going to reroll at least. Let's try one of those to begin with. So 1, okay. See if we can maybe get another one. We would love like 2 tentacles. No, that's not 2 tentacles. I said we would love 2 tentacles. Okay, well, it's not 2 tentacles. That is 2 wounds, but we're going to stop there. So that's 2 wounds, and we will take insanity. But first, though, Nye moves to the furthest gate. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Nye's going to go back here to the yellow gate. And then we take the 2 tentacles. Sylvia does, that is. I think she's going to upgrade the reformed cultist. So she will now get to, you may perform one free attack per turn against a cultist. As the game goes on, there tend to be more and more cultists popping up, and when she kills them, she gets to heal 2 stress, and if we get to upgrade that again, all of her stress. And so that's just going to give her a lot of rerolls both on defense and offense. So that's kind of her thing. So we should dig into that. But first, before we did that, actually, we need to activate her insanity, which is uncontrollable fear. If there are enemies in your space, gain the frightened token and move to the nearest space with no enemies. Enemies do not follow. So she can't run that way. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So we get to choose which of these we would like. This one is more helpful, so we're going to run there. And Midna is going to come with us. It puts us more in the heart of some business there, but we got to keep things moving so things do not go out of control. Being here is just, we're going to waste more turns moving. So as you can see, things happen pretty quickly, so you got to keep mitigation and things going and solving these puzzles and everything. And we only have 1 of 3 of these pieces right now. We need to move things along. So we were supposed to do that first and then do our upgrade, but that's okay. So that was us being attacked. And then end of turn, she has no end of turn things. She's not on fire, not 3 symbols yet, so we're back to Rosario. Rosario is going to go ahead and rest just to get rid of that stupid curse, so she's going to do 1, 2, 3. I hate to waste an action doing that, but having that drain, and then if she does actually get a treasure, and we'll just pull this off. These don't really come back in. And then I'm up 2 minds here. One is I'm like, she should go down here and start dealing with this stuff. The other is we need to find that other staff piece. Not all of these creatures move on each turn anyway, so she can get there and do that. I think she needs to go ahead and flip these. She's at full health and everything, but so that was 1 to heal. This is going to be 2 to do this. Reveal and gain a treasure, finally. So this is when you run, you may sneak once one enemy doesn't follow you. So that's not super helpful for her, which may be a good one to dump off on here, but we'll see. We'd have to get it over there, which would be a whole thing. So that was 2. And then she's just going to move here for 3. With all these enemies out here, it would be so nice if they were in the same spot because they would both get the advantage of Celeste rerolls, although it'll be more helpful once Celeste is upgraded and she gets the 2 rerolls. So that was her 3 actions. We just have that 1 over there, and we have 4 more explore tokens there. Ugh. So much more to figure out here, because one of those is going to have that other staff of Ra that we need, art. So that was her 3 actions. So white polypus thing, move the white polypus thing 2 spaces towards you, so 1, 2. Then each investigator in its space takes 1 stress, and then summon the white polypus thing if it's not on the board. So it is on the board. So nothing huge, but it is 1 more towards progress on that. Rosario does get to discover again, so hopefully something good. Scimitar. Sharp as a razor and much more practical for the moment, you may take 1 stress, claim the scimitar. You gain 1 bonus die when attacking a target in your space. You also have 1 free reroll if that target is a monster. So 1 stress for bonuses for attacking. I mean, yes, she can attack 1 away, but she also caused monsters to her space, so not useless. So she'll take it. It'll resolve end of turn. So she no longer has that curse end of turn effect. She's not on fire, not 3 symbols there yet. So we're to Sylvia again. So Sylvia is feared right now. So she's going to heal, which will take this away. So she'll go 1, 2, 3. She's just going to turn over the 1 in her spot. Okay, reveal and gain a treasure. So that's good. It's not the staff part, but it's something positive. Once per turn as an action, heal 2 stress. So she will do that right now as a free action. So that was 1 action to heal, 2 actions to do that. So how can we use Midna right now? So I feel like Rosario on her next action is going to flip this one over and then take two shootings. And then she'll be coming this way. So ideally, Midna could clear this stuff out somehow. That white polypus thing is 1 black die and 3 bonus, so it has a large damage potentiality, and Sylvia does not have a lot of damage mitigation. So Midna is going to come in here and get its attention. So it's going to move 1, 2, 3, pull it into this main room, get out of the way. That's a free action. So Sylvia has 1 more move, and I think she's going to just move into this next room to be ready to continue flipping these over. So she's going to take her Mythos card. Each investigator loses 1 sanity and takes 1 stress for each treasure. So they both have a treasure. So that's 1 stress, sanity, 1 sanity. Summon 1 sand dweller to your space. Well, that's a bummer. Oh, no, I guess we wouldn't have discovery anyway. If you have any Staff of Ross parts, she does. The furthest enemy moves 2 spaces towards you. Okay, furthest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be this one. 1, 2. Okay, and that does not move things forward though, which is good. So, and then fight. So the cultist is going to attack us first. Nothing. And then the sand dweller is going to attack us next. And that is 2 damage. Try to reroll bonus die. And nothing. So 1 damage. Since she has stress regeneration now, might as well take advantage of that. And of course she has the stress healing from her foreign cultist, so she's about the rerolls from stress. I mean, she's able to handle a lot of stress because she was in a cult, and it's very stressful because you have to lurk a certain way, you have to perform a certain way. I mean, you know, it's an environment. Okay, so those were the attacks, and then in return, she has none. Not on fire, not 3 symbols. So we're back to Rosario. Rosario's going to turn this over, reveal, reveal and resolve a trap. Summon 1 sand dweller to your spot. Hello, sand dweller. So we've done all the discovery things over here. Now Rosario just needs to clear some of the stuff up and build up her strength so she can do a little faster. So I think ideally she could hit her next insanity to maybe activate that toughness. So we're going to do boisterous, but we're not going to do it against that sand dweller because we potentially take a wound. I'm going to do it, just thinking the best way to do this. We're going to do it against the albino penguin. Well, no, because they're going to be called, one of them will be recalled. So we're just going to attack the sand dweller in our spot. So we're going to reroll this with Celeste, but because of Kopesh, once per attack, if you were to reroll a die, you may set it to any face. So we're actually going to set it to tentacle so we can activate our next insanity. So the 1 success, we're going to kill the sand dweller because we kill it with exactly 1. It doesn't get its retaliation. And then we go here, get the hyperactive token, take 2 stress. Is that what we want to do though? Because then we won't get a discover, and these discoveries are helping us. So I'm going to back that up for a second. We're going to put it on blank. I don't think we'll just go up 1 tentacle. So that was action 2. So we turned over token, which called in the stupid sand dweller, which was another enemy out of all these enemies. We attacked it, which was action 2. And then now we're going to attack the sand dweller in the next spot, and we're not going to use boisterous. Well, we may end up triggering it anyway, and may end up taking a wound anyway. I use stress to reroll, but the thing is, we're going to trigger our insanity anyway, which is going to cause us to get 2 stress. So the net result's going to be the same. We're still going to get a wound, I think. Possibilities if we rerolled both of these with stresses and got both misses and just exactly killed it and then that didn't trigger it. But then if we got a discovery that required us to use stress, then we would. Whereas if we allow, I think we're just going to allow this to happen. So we have 3 successes. So we're going to kill Sand Dweller because we damage it with more than 1. We're going to take a wound, and we have 2 tentacles. So it just stops at the 1. We activate our insanity. So we do this. We take 2 stress. We do get an upgrade. So we're going to upgrade toughness. You may reduce wounds when taken and lost the sanity by 1 when attacked we're rolling for fire. And then because we don't have the stress, I always worry about those discovery. Now, some of the discovery cards don't require you to use stress, but some of them require you to, is it worth the risk? So we have an extra action now. So we could use boisterous or not. Yes, not all of them require to use stress. So we do get a bonus die now. You see there's a symbol below this insanity level. When you reach each of those, you always get a permanent die, and you have to roll all the dice that you have the option rolling. I think we're just going to attack this cultist. So definitely 2 damage. So we're going to, with Celeste, we get a reroll. So we'll just reroll, and we get a, with the Kopesh, set the die to what we want. So we'll just set that to a blank. So we only take 1 insanity right now. That cultist is gone. Well, at least we cleared out some, although one of them was the new friend that showed up. And then we are about to draw our Mythos card. So this is going to go away. So the Mythos card is going to advance the Elder One. So Ny moves 1 space towards you, which is going to be into Sylvia's spot. The nearest Moon Beast moves 2 spaces towards you. So 1, 2. So that is going to attack us this turn. Summon a Moon Beast to the Yellow Gate. So all 3 Moon Beasts are out. Fun, fun. It's the Lunar Menace, which makes sense. All right. So with that resolve, we're going to get attacked by that Moon Beast, which attacks with 2 regular die and 1 bonus die. And for it, elder signs count as tentacles. So it would be 2 wounds and a tentacle, but because of toughness, we can reduce wounds taken and loss of sanity by 1. So we would only take 1 wound from that because of toughness. And then we're moving into end of turn. So no end of turn effects. We're not on fire, but the Elder One is advancing. So it's going to advance. It's going to summon a cultist into its spot. It's going to move the nearest Moon Beast 2 spaces towards me, but it's already on the same spot as me. It's going to summon a Moon Beast at the furthest gate, but the Moon Beast is already there. And this is why I did not attack the albino penguins yet. Each albino penguin moves 2 spaces towards you, and then it would have summoned another one to the nearest gate. So literally I would have killed it, and it would have popped up at the same gate. So each albino penguin moves 2 spaces towards one with a companion or to you. So they're all just going to go in here with me. Now this is on the advancement, so they're not attacking now. They would attack potentially on the next one. But what's kind of nice is it does clear them out a little bit this way, and she can just kind of continue on her rampage, I guess. Things are getting obviously a little bit crowded here for Sylvia, who is not as equipped to deal with this. So we're going to have to figure that out. And then the froggy friend moves 1 space towards us, and then 1 additional space, so 1 each. Oh gosh, so it's in our space as well. So, well, that is just a good time, huh? So then these get shuffled back in, and only 2 more advancements, and it'll automatically upgrade to its final form, even though we haven't disrupted the ritual. So we got to make that happen. We have a little bit of a cluster, so I feel like we need a turn of clearing out some stuff, maybe. I don't know. Oh, those moon beasts, gosh. And Midna is over here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So Sylvia, what are you doing? So first, as a free action with her treasure, she can heal 2 stress. So we're just going to do that at the beginning. She has 4 enemies in her space right now. Midna could come and take 1 of them away. So I think she's going to do that. So what sucks is a lot of the Mythos cards cause Ny to move towards you, so that could negate it anyway. So I think Midna, at least it gets her back over here. So it's going to 1, 2, 3. We're just going to pull Ny back in this direction. I think then she is going to attack the Sand Dweller. The Sand Dweller actually attacks for more. She only wants to hit it exactly with 1. So she has Brawling, so she gets a bonus die against it. Ooh, so right now she would take 1 wound. So she doesn't mind the tentacle. So let's take 1 stress. Reroll this. Okay, that's great. Let's try 2 stress. And let's reroll this one. Okay, well, that didn't work out. I don't think we want to do more yet. So the Sand Dweller goes away. However, because we did more than 1 damage to it, we take a wound, and then we're going to take 2 sanity because of the 2 tentacles. So that was our first action, because moving Midna was a free action as our ally. So now she's going to attack one of the cultists, which have no real weird rules. So I think this is okay. I think we're okay upgrading. So the cultist is going to die. Now I wish we had explored first. That's what we should have done. But that's okay. I think we're going to heal instead. But after all of the shenanigans, so we take our 2 successes to kill the cultist. And then we move up here 1. Even though there's 2 tentacles, you only move up to the first red spot and stop. We activate our insanity, which is uncontrollable fear. If there are any enemies in our spot, we move to the nearest unoccupied spot. And then we cannot run until we rest or draw a Mythos card. But as our third action, we are in fact going to rest. So it's going to go away. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So at least cleared a couple of things out. Oh, before we took our third action, though, we should have upgraded. So I think we are going to upgrade Reformed Cultist. When you kill a cultist, heal all your stress. Dig into the rerolls. And then once again, the full upgrade on that is this skill also applies to monsters in the Elder one. So we can get that reroll machine going for her and help her with maybe defense as well. Kind of a work around the toughness. So, but that rest, though, was her third action after she ran out of the room screaming. So she's going to draw her Mythos card. Move each monster 1 space towards you. If you have any Staff of Raw parts, they move 2 spaces instead. Oh my gosh. Move each monster 1 space towards you? Holy cow. So it's not Ny, though. It's just the monsters. The white polypus thing does move into her spot. So these, they're all like Staff of Ra is the name of the card, so it makes sense. They're like, Staff of Ra, must go to Staff of Ra. So there we are. So only the one made it to us, though. Summon the white polypus thing to the red, but it's already on the board. Summon a sand dweller to the blue. All right, and then we're getting attacked by the white polypus thing, which is 1 black die and then 3 bonus die. All right, it's time to use some of that stress for rerolls. Okay, so we'll do 1 stress, reroll this one. Okay, miss. 1 stress to reroll this one. That's a miss. And we're not going to be in a space alone, so we might as well do 1 stress to reroll this one, and that's a miss. So we only take 1 wound from all of that. So reaping the benefits of our reroll machine, stress reroll machine. Okay, and then resolve end of turn. No end of turn effects, not on fire, not 3 symbols yet. So we're back to Rosario. So Rosario, I think, just needs to clear out some stuff. Oh gosh, we got to, man, things seem so easy and breezy at the beginning. I think she's going to go a little crazy because I think she kind of needs to help Sylvia. And we're just going to see what happens. So she's going to go 1, 2. All of these are going to follow her. So she's built up her toughness and her attack, and we're just going to see what happens. So right now she gets the 3 black dice, the 1 green bonus die. She does boisterous, she gets 2 more. And then you gain, for the scimitar, you gain a bonus die when attacking a target in your space. You also get a free reroll if that target is a monster. So I get a reroll from that, from targeting a monster, plus a reroll from Celeste. So I get 2 rerolls, and I'm going to attack the Moon Beast. I think we need to clear out some of the Moon Beast. One, two, three, 4. So I get 2 rerolls. So I'm going to reroll one of these because these count, the Elder Signs count as tentacles. Now, well, we mine that? Maybe we want to go ahead and upgrade to the next level of toughness. Let's go ahead and dig into it. So this Moon Beast is dead. And then now going to attack. Oh, the nearest, because we did boisterous, enemy comes in. And then now we're going to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to attack one of the albino penguins. So they only have 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to set with Kopesh. We get to reroll one of these. We're just going to turn it over to blank. Well, actually, let's turn it over to a tentacle so we can upgrade. So the albino penguin goes away. We go here. So we activate the insanity. Get 2 stressed, but we're already fully stressed. So a couple things happen. First, Celeste gets upgraded. So now we have 2 free rerolls when attacking. And then with our scimitar, if we're in the same space, we get 3. And then now we get an upgrade. So now we're going to do, you may reduce wounds and loss of sanity by 1 from any source. And we did forget, we did do boisterous. So we're going to do this moon beast to get it out of the way, 1, 2. We could have done the sand dweller if we wanted. Trying to make room for Sylvia to take care of what she needs to take care of. It's a little risky, but things just look like they were getting a little out of control. So hopefully this toughness gets us through. We're going to see how it goes. She has no stress mitigation, so not sure. So now she does get 1 more action. So we have, if we don't do boisterous, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, scimitar 5, but we get 3 rerolls. You know, I think we're going to try to clear the way for her. We're just going to risk it and get that moon beast out of the way. So we're going to attack the moon beast. So the moon beast is dead. So the question is, how crazy do we want to be? So we get 3 rerolls. So 1 we can just turn to whatever side we want. So I think we'll just make this blank. So the moon beast is only 4, so there's 3. So that would be 1 tentacle. So we could try re-rolling these to see if we, so we did 1 re-roll with the Kopesh, and we get 2 more. So we're going to get 1, 2 there. But the moon beast is dead, and then this moon beast is going to move in. And I hope we're okay. I don't know that we're okay, but I hope that we are, because I think if we can survive this round, then I think we have a real shot at making things happen. So that was our bonus action with this. So we're about to draw our Mythos card. So each investigator loses 1 sanity and takes 1 stress for each treasure. So perfect. So she's going to get that again. So she gets to upgrade again, and I think she's going to go. So the upgrade of toughness is you may reduce wounds taken by 2 and loss of sanity by 1 from any source. She's going to go all the way up there because she's about to get attacked. So that may save her life that we drew this card. And 1 sanity for each treasure, 1 stress. So she's at max stress. Summon 1 sand dweller in your spot. Great, just what we need. If you have any staff of raw parts, for this enemy moves toward you. So we do not. So the good news is it's not advancing the elder one. The bad news is we're about to be attacked by the whole pyramid of fear. So as usual, we'll start with the lowest on the totem pole and work our way up. So cultist. So we automatically mitigate 2 wounds and 1 sanity. So I don't even think 2 dice can even do anything to us. So 1 wound, so that's mitigated. So that was the cultist. So then we'll do the penguin, I think, is the next. So it's 1 regular die, 1 bonus die. So that's 2 wounds, so we can mitigate that. Next is, I believe, the sand dweller, which is 1 regular die, 2 bonus die. So that's 2 wounds, so we can mitigate that. So yeah, I think drawing that card that caused us that insanity gain actually helped us. Moon Beast, which is 2 black, 1 bonus, but stars count as tentacles. Oh gosh, so that's 3 wounds and 2 tentacles. So that would be 1 wound, 1 insanity. Oh, this insanity track is looking a little scary. Those moon beasts are brutal on the insanity. Oh, and I forgot a key thing. They very sillily have included upgraded when you upgrade your animal ally. There is a different miniature to represent it. See, here's the calm snake, and here is the enchanted Celeste. So we now have the enchanted Celeste. All right, only 2 more to go, and we will have survived. We're hanging by a thread here. So we have the monstrous frog is the scary one because if it rolls an elder sign, we could be done for. So 2 regular and 1 bonus. Okay, so that's okay. 1 wound, 1 tentacle, so we can mitigate that. And finally, the white polypus thing, which is 1 regular die and 3 bonus die. So that is just 2 wounds because the elder signs don't mean anything to that one. So we can mitigate 2 wounds and 1 sanity. So we survive that with 2 health to spare there. So hopefully that was all worth the risk so we can get Sylvia in there to get us in a position where Ny's not coming in its full form and we're not ready. I think this is definitely a game where sometimes you just have to take risk. If you're moving too slow and you're not getting ahead of it, then it's worse than taking a risk and losing and then resetting. So that's my opinion, at least. I think it's the same thing with Final Girl. Sometimes, like I've learned over time, taking risks is better. If you play too safe and too gradual, then sometimes you just fall down. All right, so that was the attack. So resolve in turn, no end of turn effects. So this was put on by the Mythos card, so it's going to carry over to our next turn, which is kind of cool because that means we're going to get 4 actions, although we have no ability to rest. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So, end of turn effects, no fire, no advancement. So we're back to Sylvia. So Sylvia's going to take her free 2 stress there. She is going to have Midna take Ny 1. No, wait. Oh, not that. Let me think about this for a second. I think first she's going to move into this spot. And she's going to turn this over. So that was 1 to move, 2 to turn this over. Okay. Gain the staff shaft. So we're finally making more progress. So that's the second piece. So technically we don't need these 2. The only thing that's a bummer is she'll be giving up this treasure, healing 2 stress, but she has that stress healing by killing things. So maybe she doesn't worry about it and she just runs for it to disrupt the ritual and move things forward. Or maybe we try to clear these out and wait a few turns before we make that happen, because there could be another helpful treasure. Because this, when you run, you may sneak once for Rosario is like not very useful. But the thing is, we'd have to get Rosario over there and then trade, and that's going to take a turn or 2. Now we do have at least 5 more turns, so maybe it's worth waiting. But in the meantime, so that was 1 to move, 2 to reveal. Let's do 3 to attack that cultist. So we get the 3 regular die, plus 1 for our brawling. So that cultist is gone. We get to heal all of our stress. And we'll go up 1 there. I think because we could have Midna try to help, because we're at full health. The thing is, though, it's 1, 2, 3, so it's just going to get there. It wouldn't be able to help until our next turn anyway. But I guess if Nye is going to move towards us anyway, so we're going to do 1, 2, so that because Midna can move 3 and can take an enemy with it. So Nye's like, Midna, why won't you let me pet you? You sat in that room for me a while and I thought we were friends again. Yeah, I know I'm ridiculous. But that gets Nye out of the way. If it was going to move towards me by one spot anyway. It'll just move towards me there. And then maybe I could either move Ny out of the way or move one of the others out of the way. And then it's potentially just open more there. We'll see. Midna's at least in a position to maybe help mitigate some of those. All right, so time for a Mythos card for Sylvia. So move the nearest, so that is the albino penguins. So it's going to move one space towards, so moving this direction. And we do draw another card. So make a roll, get a bonus die if you have swiftness, which we do not. Discard one treasure item or companion unless you roll 3 or more successes. If you can't discard, take a wound. Discard a treasure item. Oh gosh, we would have to discard our treasure. Any Mythos cards. I do love that the instruction manual says you will grow to despise the Mythos cards, and that's true. That is very true. Thank you, instruction manual. Okay, so we don't get, so we do get a bonus from our level of our insanity, because you get these bonus dice for everything. So we do have our full stress. So let's just see what we have. So we do get 3 bonuses there. So we're going to take the 3 bonuses so we don't have to do that. I think we're going to go ahead and take those insanities to upgrade. So we activate our insanity, but it's only if there are enemies in your space gain the frightened token, but there's not. So we don't even have to do anything. And we're going to upgrade so that our reformed cultist that allows us to heal all of our stress when we kill anything. So we just can hopefully contribute more to battle now. If we can also upgrade our arcane mastery, that allows us to use the elder signs as successes, then that would be even better. That was the Mythos card. We do get to do a discovery. The compass, when you explore, you may pick up tokens from an adjacent space instead of just your space. So that might be nice because I can maybe try to grab those last couple of items to see if they're useful. And then end of turn action, so we don't have any. Not on fire, not 3 symbols there yet. So then it's going to be to Rosario. All right, well, you all missed some very Cthulhu haunting drama. My battery ran out on my camera, so I was changing that, and there was a light that got hit over and landed on the table. I wish it had been filming because then I could have inserted some, like, Nyarlathotep is upset and is trying to interfere with us making it happen, and the light landed here and caused all this to go askew, so I had to look at the last frame to reset all these values to make sure they were in the right place. So hopefully we got all reset. It was really just this corner, I think, though, so I think we're good and we're going to move on. And Nye's attempt to thwart our efforts failed, and we are going to continue. And I just put these there to remind me that it is Rosario's turn. She just needs to clear some of the stuff out with her new gained strength. She's hyperactive, so she can take 4 actions, but she cannot rest. So she's still in the risk zone. And I think she's just going to have to continue to go for it. That's her mode, her vibe, and she's just, living for it. And, playing into her strength has worked out for her so far, so she's going to continue doing that. Ooh, and I just realized that when we got to level 3 here, insanity for Sylvia, that Midna should have upgraded to everyone's more favorite cat, Haunted Midna, which means we get a, throw tame Midna away and get creepy, freaky, haunted Midna. And that actually happened in the Mythos card stage. In Haunted Midna, if you recall, at the end of your turn, deal 2 wounds to each enemy in Midna's space. So she would actually have dealt 2 wounds to the albino penguin there. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now she's going to be super helpful for kind of mob control here. Now I wish we had brought her all the way in there, but we didn't know that we were going to be upgrading her that round, that we were going to get that trap card. So anyway, back to Rosario. So she gets 4 turns, so I think she can take out a bunch of stuff here. So she gets, when she attacks, 3 regular, the 2 bonus. If she does boisterous, she gets 2 more. And if she attacks a monster in her space with a scimitar, she gets another one. So that's 3, 8 dice. So she's going to attack the white polypus thing because it attacks for the most. Ooh, that is a lot of misses. We get 2 rerolls from Celeste and 1 reroll from the scimitar. We get to do one of these rerolls with the Khopesh automatically to what we want, so we'll just do that to a hit. Well, the question is, do we take the insanity or not? I think she's getting high enough to track. Maybe we should reroll this to a hit, and we'll reroll just 2 of these. So not great. That's 3 hits against the white polypus thing. Oh, pause for a second. On Sylvia, we should not have upgraded her Reform Cultist because she gets an automatic upgrade to her signature ability when she does this. So we're going to upgrade the Arcane Mastery instead so that when she runs back into this main room with the completed Staff of Ra, she'll get that. So otherwise we'd be wasting that bonus ability when we disrupt the ritual. There's a lot of upkeep things in this, so you have to be a little forgiving with yourself in terms of, making yourself right on some of these things. Okay, back to business. So all those dice, not very much to show for it. So I have this albino penguin move in for the boisterous. So she has 3 more attacks. I think we're going to do a non-boisterous attack against the moon beast. We don't want too much insanity from the moon beast. So we're going to do, so that's the best we can do on that. And we get 3 rerolls. So hopefully we don't get too many elder signs and tentacles. So this is against the moon beast. Okay. So this is optimal. So this was non-boisterous. We're able to mitigate one of the tentacles and the moon beast is dead. So that was attack number 2 of 4 with our hyperactivity. I think we're going to do a boisterous attack again against the white polypus thing. Hoping we can finish it off. Okay, this is looking a little better. So that's 4 hits, 5 hits. We can mitigate that 1 sanity. We get 3 rerolls, so we're going to reroll this to just a hit. So that's 5. And then we just need 1 more hit. And there we go. So the white polypus thing is dead. So when destroyed, each investigator within 1 space takes 2 stress. She's already at max stress, so that's fine. The nearest enemy not in the space moves 1 in. This was the white polypus health. So that was attack number 3. And then I'm a little worried about the monstrous frog. So she actually has this treasure, which is when you run, you can sneak once, so an enemy doesn't follow you. So I think she's going to actually, as the last action, she's going to run and she's going to sneak from the monstrous frog. And so everything else is going to follow her, which is just going to be down to the albino penguin, the sand dweller, and Ny. And the cultist, I guess. Okay, so we'll see if Rosario can handle 1 more round with her max toughness there. And this is the tension of this game. And like as it goes along, you get stronger, but it gets hairy. So if you are in the same space as Ny, catch 2 fire. And we are. So we do. So otherwise, each investigator moves 1 space. So we're not in the otherwise, so we just catch 2 fire. So that is not that bad. We can get on board with that. But now we're going to get attacked. So first we have the cultist, which attacks with 2. So that's only 1 wound, so we can mitigate that. So as a reminder, we can mitigate 2 wounds and 1 sanity. So then we have the albino penguin, which is 1 regular die and 1 bonus die. So just 1 sanity, so that's fine. And then we have the sand dweller, which is 1 regular die and 2 bonus die. Okay, so only 1 wound, so that's fine. And then we have Ny with 3 regulars. So 2 wounds and 1 sanity, which is what we can mitigate. So that toughness can get you a long way. Now, Ny is going to go to the furthest gate. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going back to that yellow gate. Nye really likes that yellow gate. It feels like home. It's near the treasure room. Very comfortable. So then we resolve end of turn actions. Oh, and so we did, when we drew our Mythos card, get to get rid of hyperactivity. We are on fire, so we have to roll 2 of these. So we can mitigate 2 wounds and 1 sanity. So nothing. These go away. So we just fully stamped out that fire. And not advancement on the other one yet. So this is great. We bid our time a little bit. And we're going to be a little bit stronger going into this, although it's been a little hairy. Now, if Rosario had died in these last couple of rounds, then the game would just end. Once the Elder One is on the board, whether it gets to this red stage or we disrupt the ritual, then an investigator can die and the other investigators can continue and try to win, although if it happens too early, it can be really tough, depending on the circumstances and the levels and what's going on. But as a general matter, if it happens too early, it can be tough. So something to keep in mind. So I think what Midna is going to do as the free action is going to go 1. She may have an enemy follower, but in this case, she's not going to. And she's going to go here. So at the end of Sylvia's turn, she's going to do 2 damage, which is going to kill the albino penguin, the sand dweller, and the cultist, so that Rosario can actually heal at the beginning of her turn. Wouldn't that be nice? So she's not sitting in this danger zone. So she'll be strong, she's going to be upgraded, and she's going to be in a much better position for when we disrupt the ritual. And that scary monstrous frog won't be quite as scary, but we should maybe get it off the board. But it'll be better to destroy the monstrous frog once we've gone through this, because with these unknown monsters, they will always be summoned when the Elder One advances, so it's bad to do late in this cycle. So that was one reason why I ignored it in this last round of battle. I could have probably tried to take it out instead of the White Polypus thing, but the White Polypus thing is not necessarily summoned. It's summoned by one of these Mythos cards, so that's a difference, whereas the unknown monsters, there's always going to be one of those summoned when the Elder One advances, and there's only one of the monstrous frogs, so if we killed it, it literally just would have come back right away. So it's better to kill those early in the cycle, right after the Elder One has advanced. So I think it's 1 action. So now she has the compass, so when she explores, she can pick up tokens from an adjacent space. So she's going to pick this one up. So it is reveal and gain a treasure, which is great. So let's see what it is. Once per turn, before any roll, gain 2 extra die. Okay, so that was 1. So then she's going to go 2 and move here. Nye's going to follow her, of course. And then she's going to go 3 and she's going to trade. And so the way this works is you discard one of these. We're going to discard the one that allows her to heal 2 stress, but of course we're going to, well, we're already at full stress, so it doesn't matter. And when you discard this, you gain this that you can put on there, Indiana Jones style. You get this. So that's her 3rd action, and this goes out of the game. And then now that trap will not be triggered, which, as you recall, it's each investigator takes 2 wounds, and every enemy moves 1 towards the nearest investigator with a staff of raw parts. So literally all the enemies would just move in towards her. So, but all investigators take 2 wounds, so that's pretty crazy. It's like all these arrows are just flying out of the walls. So that was her 3rd action. So now it's time for her Mythos card, which is probably going to advance the Elder One. Each investigator loses 1. Oh my gosh, we keep getting this one, the Pharaoh's Curse. Well, it's good that she discarded the 1 treasure, I guess. So each investigator loses 1 sanity and takes 1 stress for each treasure they have. So Rosario cannot take a stress, but she can lose the sanity, and lose the stress here. Summon 1 Sand Dweller to your spot. If you have any staff of raw parts, the furthest enemy moves 2 spaces towards you. So not advancing again. So 6. I'm guessing it's that one. Yeah. 1, 2. And then she's going to get attacked by the Sand Dweller and then Ny. The Sand Dweller is 1 regular die, 2 bonus. So that is 1 wound, 1 sanity. And then Ny is 3 regular die, which is going to be 1 more wound, 1 more sanity. So first, though, Ny is going to go to the furthest gate, which is going to be this one. That's good. Tuck them away for a little bit. So then her sanity is going to trigger. So she gets the fear token. She will go to the nearest space without an enemy. And then we resolve end of turn. There's no end of turn effects in play right now. Not on fire, not 3 symbols. So we're back to Rosario. Oh, actually, there is an end of turn effect, which is Midna's deal 2 wounds to each enemy. So that's this one. That's the Sand Dweller, and it's deal 2 wounds. It's not an attack, so the Sand Dweller does not get its retaliatory attack. The albino penguin had 2 damage already. So Haunted Midna is doing her job. Thank you, Haunted Midna. So now Rosario can start, and the first thing she's going to do is heal, heal, heal. So she's going to do 1, 2, 3, and I think, because she has no defense reroll mitigation, or does she just start shooting? She needs to wait. Maybe she just heals 1, 2, 3 stress just to get ready. It's kind of a quiet turn for her. She's been through all this carnage. She just needs to take a meditative moment, sit with Celeste and Midna. And I think what she'll do then is she's going to shoot. She's a marksman, not boisterously though, but just to damage the monstrous frog. So that way, once this is cycled through, she can take it out very easily. So that's for 5 damage. That's the best she can do with 5 dice. She can mitigate the sanity. And that's her third action. She draws her Mythos card. Move the white polypus thing 2 spaces towards you. It's not on the board. Summon the white polypus thing to blue. And then Rosario gets to discover. There's madness to be found. You may take 2 stress. Well, I'm glad we healed the stress to claim the jewel. If you do not get a curse condition, you may move between spaces with gates. So the curse condition is losing sanity for treasures we're carrying. So I'm really glad that we healed that stress. So strange jewel, you may move between spaces with gates as if they were adjacent. So I think we're going to spend that 2 stress to get that, if nothing else, to avoid that curse. And that may be handy when we're chasing Ny around, because once you defeat each stage of the Elder One, and they tend to, bounce around the board. So end of turn, no real end of turn things. However, the Elder One is going to advance. So Ny has its advance action, so it's going to summon cultist. It would move a moonbeast towards us if there were any. It's going to summon a moonbeast to the furthest gate from us. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here with Sylvia, unfortunately. So the albino penguins would move towards us, otherwise summon at the nearest gate. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So right there. And the monstrous frog will move 1 space towards us. And extra ones for our insanity levels, but it doesn't matter because it made it to us with just 1 move. That's all the advanced things. So then these Mythos cards get reshuffled. And then we're back to Sylvia. All right, and I started to take my turn, and then I had to backtrack because I was going to move Sylvia on her turn here to stop the ritual. But because when she was attacked last time, it triggered her insanity, and she had the fear left over. And she cannot run while she has this token, and she can only discard it when she rests or when she draws her Mythos card. And she cannot rest because she has a Moon Beast in her spot. So she really only has one choice right now, which is to attack that Moon Beast. So she does have this treasure once per turn before any roll gain 2 bonus dice. So she now has, because her insanity's gone up, she has these 2 bonus dice. So she's going to get the 3 regular, the 2 bonus dice from the insanity level, and then the 2 bonus dice from the treasure. So that's 4, and then she gets 1 for brawling for attacking something in her spot. Ooh, the question is though, the Moon Beast, we maybe don't want to do the bonus roll against the Moon Beast. We do have these re-rolls. Yeah, I think we're not going to do the bonus. Because for the Moon Beast, the Elder Signs rolled against it are going to count as tentacles. And we want to not move too quickly now that we're near the end here. Okay, so this is not great here. So we're going to use 1 stress to re-roll this Elder Sign. Okay, well, we at least got a hit on that one. We're going to use another stress to re-roll this one. Okay, that's not good. And we're going to go ahead and stress ourselves completely out. We just want a straight hit, no tentacle. And there we go. So that's 4 hits. So we apply that first. So the Moon Beast is dead. And then we are going to take 1 move insanity track there. I think we are going to heal. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. The question is, do we just go ahead and heal again and we wait until the next turn to call Ny in since we just started a new cycle? I think that's probably the correct choice. There may be other things come out, but she could discover this turn. 1, 2, 3, and maybe give us another tool. And we did rest, so this goes away. And we do get to move Midna. So Midna's gonna go 1, 2, 3. Bring the monstrous frog up here. And so she can bring 2 with her. So she brought the monstrous frog as 1. And then she can bring this sand dweller with her as well. So that was a free action. So we defeated was 1. We rested twice. So that was the 3 actions. And then that was the free one. So we do the Mythos card, which is, oh my gosh, the Pharaoh's Curse again. Are you serious? Wow, this is ridiculous. Okay, well, each investigator loses 1 sanity and takes 1 stress. This is really ridiculous. Okay, so 1 stress. We'll do the stress first. Okay, so Sylvia's is not triggered, so Rosario only has 2 moves, and then she is going to perish and or sit in the corner and cry as she loses her mind completely with what she's been faced, which I feel like is very substantially possible. Man, what a bummer. Okay, so she triggers her insanity. So she's going to get 4 actions on her next turn, but she cannot heal. And then she does get an upgrade. So she's going to upgrade Boisterous. So when she calls things to her spot, then they're going to get damaged by 1. So she will at least be able to go out with a bang. And then it says that a sand dweller is going to be summoned to her spot. So unfortunately, Sylvia is not going to be able to discover anyway. So Sylvia is going to get attacked by that, which is 1 regular die and 2 bonus. And that is 1 sanity. So she's going to get fear, which is going to make her go to the nearest unoccupied spot. Darn it. Well, fear was being used to our advantage, and now it's become just kind of a hindrance that's made us take rest moves that we didn't want to take. Oh man, I think they're both gonna lose because of the sanity tracks. That darn Pharaoh's curse. Okay, we're not going to give up. We have hope. We just need to call Ny to the board, and we just need to hit Ny super hard, and that's what we need to do. So Rosario needs to clear the way, because I don't think. Let me just think about that. Well, I'll think about that in a second. So we'll finish Sylvia's first. So Sylvia triggered that, so she does get an upgrade. So I'm just thinking ahead here. So for Sylvia, we could go ahead and upgrade her Reformed Cultist, because on Rosario's turn, which is next, I wonder if she should go here, one, trade, return, and then Nye shows up, just to move things forward, because I feel like I'm really worried about this sanity. So I think that being the case, Sylvia is going to use that sanity trigger to move up there. So that is the Pharaoh's Curse. That was triggered by us being attacked by the Sand Dweller. So end of turn actions. So now Midna is going to do 2 damage to everything. So she killed a cultist, so she's going to heal all of her stress. She's going to kill the Sand Dweller, but it's not an attack, so we don't get the retaliation. It's going to be 2 damage to the monstrous frog, which takes it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 short of killing it. 2 damage to the white polypus thing. We can't damage Nye. And then she's not on fire, not 3 symbols there yet. And we're on to Rosario. So Rosario has 4 actions. So now the question is, should we heal stress or do we just dive in? I think we're going to go 1. So that's 1 action. 2 is trade. So she's going to take this. 3, she's going to move back here. So the ritual is officially disrupted. She gets to upgrade her signature ability, so she gets to go all the way to the top of that. And then the question is whether she heals or she could boisterous this. So if she boisterous this, she'd kill this, and then she could call the monstrous frog in, and then it would just die. But the thing is, the monstrous frog is not likely to move here anyway. So I don't think there's a benefit to doing it right now. So I think she's going to heal to try to save her from any double sanity rolls. So that's her 4th action. So she's going to draw her Mythos card, which is going to get rid of that. So the nearest albino penguin is going to move in 1. We draw another card. Move the white polypus thing 2 spaces towards you. 1, 2. Then each investigator in its space takes 1 stress. And then it would summon the white polypus thing if it weren't on the board already. So then we're going to get attacked first by the penguin, which is 1 each. So that is nothing. And then the white polypus thing is 1 black and 3 green. Okay, so that is 2 wounds and 1 sanity, which we can mitigate with toughness. So that's fine. So end of turn effects is nothing, not on fire, not 3 symbols. However, the ritual has been disrupted, so we reveal the next stage. It tells us that Nye moves to our space. It then transforms into its final form. So we replace that. We put a fire in the space. So fire, anytime one of the investigators exits a fire, they catch fire. And then we would move all cultists 1 space towards Nye, but there are none. So Nye will now get a bonus in addition to the 3 black standard dice. And when cultists attack for each elder sign, the investigator will catch fire. So let's straighten all that up a little bit. And that's all end of turn, so none of that is attacking right now. And then it's Sylvia's turn. So I think we just need to get in here. So that's 1 to move into the spot. Sylvia's first going to attack Nye. So the 3 regular, she's now up to 3 bonus. She gets the bonus 1 for attacking something in her spot. And we do get to count all elder signs as successes as well. And then we'll figure out what we want to do with Midna and if we want to do another attack. And she does get the benefit of Celeste when attacking 2 free rerolls. So So that's going to be 4 successes, 5, because we get to count the elder signs as well. So she does not want the tentacle because she's very close to insanity. So we're going to just reroll that as one of the Celeste rerolls first. Okay, so that's great. And then we'll do one of the bonus ones because those don't have tentacles. So that's great. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the thing is, if we could do 5 more against Ny, then Ny will likely in the next stage run someplace else and then not attack us. And then we could have Midna come through and make the other enemies go away. We could try that. Now the only thing is, and we can actually use our treasure, which gives us for the second roll, which will give us even 2 more bonus die to guarantee that we'll make that happen. Okay, and we want to try to re-roll. So definitely breaking the first stage, and we just want to make this not a tentacle, and there we go. So we reveal the next stage. So when revealed, Ny moves to the starting spot, summon 1 cultist at the starting space, summon 1 cultist at each gate, place 1 fire token in each space that has any cultist and no fire. So it's good that we had all the cultists cleared out. And I'm just going to, well, we don't have any actions left, so these were to mark Ny's health, so that stage is broken. And then now it says at the end of each turn, Ny heals 2 for each cultist in its space. So right now it's at full health, so we're not concerned. It can't heal more than it has health, which is 12. So now we're going to use Midna to create a little protection here. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then she can now have 2 enemies follow her. So she's going to have the albino penguin and then the white polypus thing follow her here. Okay, that was a free action. So Sylvia moved. She attacked twice, so that's the 3 actions. So now she's going to draw her Mythos card. Ny and each moon-based beast moves 1 space towards you. So Ny is going to move there. And each moon beast, so there's no moon beast on the board right now, but we are going to summon a moon beast up here at the blue gate. And then Sylvia gets to actually discover, which is pretty cool this late in the game. Kind of worked out nicely with Midna being able to clear those out. The archaeologist, a finder of lost relics who has been here before. You may take 2 stress to claim the archaeologist. So Wendy the archaeologist, you have 1 free explore action each turn, or you can take 1 stress to claim the loop. The loop is an item. As a free action, you may look at the exploration token in your space. So that's not useful. Now what is cool is Wendy can take 1 damage for us, which is probably useful, and Sylvia can generate stress recovery by killing some of these other creatures, which she's about to do in just a second. So that was discovery. So end of turn actions. So Midna's going to kill this cultist with 2 damage. So that's going to recover all of her stress. This albino penguin is going to take 2 damage. The white polypus thing is going to take 2 damage, so it's going to be up to 4 damage out of 9. So Ny would heal for a cultist in a space, but it's not damaged right now in its current stage, and there are no cultists there. No one is on fire now because no one has left a space with fire. So that's the end of the turn, and we're back to Rosario. Now the kind of awesome thing is that Ny just moved 1 space forward. So Rosario can just turn and shoot. I think Celeste is going to turn as well. So I think Rosario should be able to just bring Ny down this 1 stage right now, and then we'll have to see what the end of stage effect is. So right now Rosario's at 3 regular die, 3 bonus die. She will do boisterous for 2 bonus die. And then when she does boisterous, when an enemy comes into the spot, so it's the closest enemy that's not in there, all enemies will get 2 damage that are in her spot. So shooting at Ny. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We can mitigate that tentacle, so we're not going to re-roll that. So she gets 2 re-rolls because of Celeste. One of these, because of Kopesh, she can just set to a hit. And then she'll re-roll the other 2. So there was one also from the the scimitar is only if it's in the spot with us. So that actually doesn't apply. So we only get the 2 Celeste re-rolls. So one of those we use Kopesh to set there and we get 1 more re-roll. And we did not get anything, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll hold off on applying stress to see if we can just get it with what we have. So we're going to have the white polypus thing come in. And so it gets damaged for 2 more. So it's up to 6 out of 9. And we're just going to do that again. So this is the second action. So it's the 3 base, the 3 bonus for our insanity level, the 2 for boisterous, ooh, not a very good roll for us. So we can mitigate that tentacle, so we will do that. So we get 2 Celeste rerolls. So 1, we're just going to turn from Kopesh to a hit, and then we'll reroll this other one, and it's a miss. So that's 3. So that would be 6, 7, 8. So we need 4 more. But I think that's okay because we can hit again. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have it do those 3. We're going to have it from boisterous this time call in the albino penguin. So now it's going to be 2 wounds from boisterous to everything. So the albino penguin dies because it had 4 health. And the white polypus thing gets 2 more damage. So it's now up to 8. And then we're going to do that again, the 3 regular, the 3 bonus, and the 2 from boisterous. And we're just going to aim at Ny a 3rd time. So that's 4 hits. So we're going to do it this time. 1 tentacle, which we can mitigate. And we don't need more because we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we apply the hits first. So that's going to break Ny. So we go to the final stage. When revealed, move Ny to the red gate. So just right here next door. Summon 2 cultists to Ny's spot. Each investigator catches 2 fire. And then it tells us you lose an amount, oh my gosh, at the end of each turn, you lose an amount of sanity equal to the number of fire tokens within 1 space of, oh, okay. So, all right, we pretty much have like 1 turn left, maybe each. Okay, so that was our 3rd action. So let's think about this for a second. So that happens first because you apply the success things first. So we needed to do that first. But now we need to apply the boisterous, which is after attack, move the nearest enemy not in your space 2 spaces towards you. So the nearest enemy is going to be one of these. Now what's interesting is we could just move Ny in, but then Ny is going to attack us. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have one of these cultists that just appeared come in, and then everything in the spot gets 2 damage, so that cultist dies. The white polypus king gets 2 damage, and so it's at 8 right now, so that's 9. So it dies. But the white polypus thing, when destroyed, each investigator within 1 space takes 2 stress. So 2 stress, 2 stress. So we're in a pretty decent position, but things could go a little awry here. We'll see. So after all that, on Rosario's turn, she needs to draw a Mythos card still. If you are in the same space as Ny, catch 2 fire. Otherwise, each investigator moves 1 space towards Ny. Enemies do not follow. So Rosario is getting attacked by Ny anyway. So she may die now because now Ny has full dice. Ny is getting 3 plus 3, and this could be the end of Rosario, and it could be left to Sylvia. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. 2. 2, because we can mitigate 2 wounds. We have no stress left to mitigate. But with our toughness, we can reduce wounds by 2. There's no sanity there, but it's Ny attacking, so we do catch 2 more fire because of the 2 elder signs. So we're not dead yet. So that was the attack. So now we resolve end of turn. So we don't do the sanity end of turn yet. We first do our end of turn, which we don't have any. We do the fire, which is going to be 4 black die. So we have, grab an extra one of those. Oh, okay. Now Rosario's dead. Because, oh no, wait. She still can reduce by wounds by 2. So 1, 2. So she's hanging on by a thread. Oh my gosh. Okay. Still hanging in there. So all of these go away. That's just so many exclamation marks. I just felt like she had to be dead, but she's still in there. So no advancement. Elder One end of turn effects is the last thing. So at the end of each turn, you lose an amount of sanity equal to the number of fire tokens within 1 space of you on the board. So right now Rosario has 1, 2. So she would lose 2 sanity, but you only lose sanity up to the next level. So that's 1. So triggers her insanity, so she gets hyperactive. And she does get an upgrade, so she just automatically upgrades this one. And then that's going to carry over to the next one. And then we're on to Sylvia. So I think Sylvia's going to be able to finish the job here. She is doing pretty well. So, and she has some options here because there's a cultist in the space, which is kind of nice. So she gets, whoa, she does not get to just bash Ny. She does not get to do that. She gets 3 regular die. She gets 3 bonus die. She gets 1 for her brawling. She's going to go ahead and use her treasure, which she gets 2 once per turn, and I'll just turn that to represent that. So I think Sylvia is going to finish the job on her turn because thankfully, because of that dragged into darkness, she actually got moved into the space and she did not have to waste any turns with resting or moving or any of that. And she can just get into the killing. And so the other amazing thing is that she gets to use elder signs as successes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she gets the Celeste reroll. So she does not want insanity. So she's going to reroll that. Okay, she's going to take the second Celeste reroll. Okay, so that's the first roll. And she's actually going to use a stress to reroll this other green one. All right, amazing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She almost got it on her first roll. So I think we are more than golden here. So this trajectory worked out. We're at the level of strength that we need to be for where we are right now. And then she's just going to do this again, but she does not get as many dice. So she gets the 3 regular, the 3 bonus. She gets the 1 for brawling, but she does not get the 2 from our treasure. And all she needs is 2. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're just going to roll the sanity away, maybe. Okay, well, she's going to trigger the next level of sanity, but you actually apply the successes first. So boom, boom, Goodbye, Nye. We did it. There were a couple hairy sections in there, but let's go to the top side and close out. We won. Yeah, so Nye is interesting, kind of more fire-based. We didn't get exposed to much of the fire from the Mythos cards as we could have, but there was the kind of fire drop at the end. And oh my gosh, that final stage where you have your insanity tick up at the end of your turn, if you're within one or more all of those, that's a lot. You could really, because you're going to be up there on your insanity because you want to level up to be able to take the Elder One on. So you got to be ready to just take it out by the time you get to that point. And we were, thankfully. But yeah, that's a scary final stage, which is supposed to be. But yeah, that one, because of where we were, really frightened me. I'm like, oh yeah, we have 1, 2 turns maybe, and not each. I mean, like just total. So it did its job of making us feel stressed, but we were able to do it, so that's good. And we were lucky with the Mythos card that had Sylvia move. So she did not have to move and waste a turn getting in position for that final attack. And then what else to say? So the middle was a little hairy. Now it was interesting because we took some risks in the middle there, because we were worried about the other one moving up the track faster. And what was funny was we ended up drawing a lot of Mythos cards that did not advance the Elder One. So we took those risks, which we might have lost the game. We very well could have lost the game. But then the Elder One didn't advance, so they were really not necessary, but we did them anyway, so it was fine. And we did clear out the board a lot, so I guess it was fine. But we would definitely could have lost. Um, and then otherwise, I really enjoy the animal allies. I like the fact that it's positional with the Celeste, that it gets the attack rerolls for everyone in the space. So it was very helpful at the end. It's very helpful for insanity mitigation, especially at the end, on the attacking. I like Midna can do kind of crowd control and damage mitigation by pulling enemies away. And then when she gets the power up to do 2 damage to everything in that space is very helpful. I really like Midna and that haunted Midna. Everyone loves haunted Midna even more. I also love the silly story I told about Midna being the reformed cultist Sylvia, that it was the cultist cat that she stole, and everyone's like happy to see Midna again. I just love telling silly stories layered onto the silliness of Cthulhu Death May Die in the first place. I love that about this game is that it's kind of the dark aspect, but then, there's the silly shenanigans of the different characters that they throw in on top of it. You have Houdini, you have all these weird extra characters they throw in. So I have my own layer of silly on top of it, and that is a joy that I get from these games. And the last thing I'll just say about the insanity. So we played with the ones that were part of the Season 4 expansion, which have these additional tokens. So it was the fear token and then the hyperactive token. I'll say first off, I enjoy the kind of the trade-offs. I liked with the hyperactive that you got the 4 actions, which you're like in this game is like, oh my gosh, an extra action, but then you couldn't rest. So Rosario's like, oh my gosh, I'm a blasting machine, especially at the end. But then she's on a razor's edge and like maybe she won't make it, but she has toughness, so she'll probably be okay, but we'll see, but maybe she can kill an extra thing and make it okay. So I liked that trade-off. And with the fear, I liked that I could make it so I could trigger the insanity. So maybe then Sylvie can run out of the space and not get attacked. But then sometimes the Mythos card triggered the insanity. So then she was feared at the beginning of the next turn. And then there was the trade-off of, oh, now I have to rest in order to actually be able to move to do something. So sometimes there was a cost to that being the insanity. So I like that trade-off. Now, what I found challenging with them was with these insanities, sometimes when they triggered after your like official turn, if it was with the Mythos card or later, then it carried over your next turn. So you had to remember on your next turn that you still had them, which is a little bit unusual. So with the fear one, Sylvia literally couldn't move on her next turn until she rested. So I liked that that was an encumbrance, but then I had to remember that it was there. And there was at least one major time where I was like, oh, I have this big move. And then I would look down and I was like, oh yeah, I'm feared. I can't do that. And so I'm just not used to that. So maybe as I get used to those being present there, I'll remember. But this is a game where you layer on a lot of things. You have to remember all the things. There's a little bit of, oh, albino penguin's going crazy. You have to remember all of those upkeeps. And so that's just another one. And so we'll see. But I do enjoy the trade-offs with them. So little mixed feelings on those, but enjoy the kind of mechanics of them, but the upkeep remembering of them, just a little bit of a hiccup here and there. So that's it. I will just end by saying I do really love the final form of Ny. These kind of decaying wings, I think, are just really cool. And with that, I will just say thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. If you did like it, please like and subscribe. It is very encouraging and I really appreciate it. And just remember, the only rule is that there are no rules, except in board games.